Tesu stood at the window of his military base in Seoul when the sky turned dark. Not dark like night. Dark like something huge was blocking the sun. He looked up and saw them. Hundreds of massive ships, each one bigger than any building he had ever seen. They hung in the sky like mountains made of black metal. Every screen on Earth flickered at the same moment. Every phone, every television, every computer showed the same face. It was not human. The creature had gray skin, 4 eyes, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. When it spoke, its voice was cold like winter wind. "People of Earth," the alien said. "I am High Commander Relos of the Velen Empire. We have conquered 40 worlds. None have ever stopped us. You have 72 hours to surrender. If you do not, we will destroy everything you love." The message ended. The screens went back to normal. But nothing was normal anymore. In homes and offices around the world, people screamed. Some cried. Some ran into the streets. Governments called emergency meetings. Leaders shouted at each other. Some wanted to surrender immediately. Some wanted to fight. Most just wanted to wake up from this nightmare, but Captain Yun Tae-soo did not scream or cry. He watched the alien ships with careful eyes. He had been a soldier for 15 years. He had seen war. He had seen death. And he knew one thing very clearly: these aliens expected easy victory. They expected humans to fall on their knees and beg. They did not know humans at all. 200 kilometers away, Dr. Park Hannah sat in her observatory, her fingers flying across her keyboard. She was an astrophysicist, a scientist who studied stars and space. Now she studied something much more dangerous. Her equipment was recording everything about the alien ships. Their energy signals, their communication waves, the way they moved. "They are not hiding anything," she said to herself. "They think we are too stupid to understand." She worked through the night, drinking cold coffee and eating nothing. By morning, she had learned something important. She called the military. "I need to speak to someone in charge," she said. "I have information about the aliens." They connected her to Captain Yun Tae-soo. "What did you find?" he asked. "They have conquered 40 worlds," Hannah said. "But I looked at their communication records. Not one of those worlds fought back." "Not really. They all surrendered within hours. The Velen have never faced a real war. They do not know what it looks like." Tae-soo smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a wolf seeing easy prey. "Then we will teach them," he said. The next 72 hours moved fast. While some governments talked about surrender, others worked in secret. Military leaders from every country met through hidden channels. Old enemies became new friends. Russia talked to America. China talked to Japan. India talked to Pakistan. For the first time in history, humans began to work as one species. They called it the United Earth Defense Council. Captain Yun Tae-soo was one of its first members. "We cannot fight them ship to ship," he told the council. "Their technology is too advanced. But we can fight them on the ground. We have been fighting wars on this planet for 10,000 years. We know every mountain, every forest, every city street. This is our home. And we will make them pay for every step they take." The cities began to empty. Millions of people moved to safe locations in the countryside. The military stayed behind. They hid in buildings, in tunnels, in shadows. They waited. High Commander Relos watched Earth from his ship. He felt pleased with himself. This was his 41st conquest. After this, the Emperor would give him great honor. Maybe his own planet to rule. "The 72 hours have passed," his advisor Neth said. "They have not responded to our message." Relos laughed. "They are probably too scared to speak. These primitives still use chemical rockets and nuclear bombs. They are like children with toys. Should we send landing forces?" Sub-Commander Torak asked. He was the leader of the ground army. He was eager to add another victory to his name. "Yes," Relos said. "Take 12 cities at once. Kill enough of them to break their spirit. This should be finished by dinner." Torak bowed and left to prepare his troops. Neth watched him go. Something felt wrong, but he could not say what. He had studied Earth's history. He had seen their wars. The way they killed each other with such creativity. The way they never gave up, even when they should. "Commander," Neth said carefully, "these humans have a strange history. They fight constantly. Among themselves, I mean. Perhaps we should be more careful." Relos waved his hand. "Fighting among themselves is not the same as fighting us. They have never seen real power. Once they see our weapons, they will fall." The landing craft launched. Thousands of Velen soldiers flew toward Earth. They carried plasma guns and energy shields. They wore armor that could stop bullets. They had conquered 40 worlds. They thought this world would be the same, the first. Craft landed in Seoul. The doors opened. Velen soldiers marched out, ready to kill anyone who stood against them, but the streets were empty. The buildings were dark. The entire city looked abandoned. Torak stepped forward, confused. Where are they? Where are the humans? Then he heard a sound. A small click. Then another. Then 1,000 clicks at once. Captain Yoon Tae-soo spoke into his radio from somewhere in the darkness. "Welcome to Earth," he said quietly. "Class is now in session." 10,000 guns opened fire at the same moment. And the villain learned their first lesson about humanity. This was not going to be easy. News of the destruction spread across every remaining network. Videos showed the bright light falling from the sky, the mushroom clouds rising, the silence that followed. 2 million people gone in seconds, families, children, old people, young people, all turned to dust. The world watched. And something inside humanity changed. Colonel Lee Seung-jin stood in the ruins of what was once a hospital. The building was now just ash and broken stone. His wife had worked here. His 2 daughters had been visiting her that day. Now there was nothing left of them. Not even bones. He fell to his knees. He wanted to cry. He wanted to scream. But no sound came out. His grief was too big for tears. It filled him completely, then turned into something else. Something harder. Something darker. When he stood up, he was not the same man. His eyes were empty of everything except one thing. Hate. He picked up his radio. "All units, this is Colonel Lee Seung-jin. I am taking command of the Asian theater. Our orders are simple. No quarter, no mercy, no surrender. We will kill every alien on this planet. And when we are done, we will find their homeworld and burn it to the ground." His words spread like fire. Soldiers who had been tired found new strength. People who had been scared found new courage. The orbital strikes were meant to break humanity. Instead, they united it in rage. In her underground laboratory, Dr. Park Hannah worked without sleep. Her eyes were red. Her hands were shaking from too much coffee, but she did not stop. She could not stop. Not when there was so much work to do. She had captured alien equipment, guns, armor, a piece of a shield generator. She had studied them all, and she had made a discovery. Their shields use energy from their bodies, she explained to Captain Yoon Tae-soo over a secure video call. That is why they only work for a short time. And that is why they are weak to certain things. What things? Tae-soo asked. Hannah held up a small bottle. Pesticide. The chemicals we use to kill insects on farms. Their biology is weak to it. Very weak. If we can deliver it to them directly, through their skin or into their lungs, they die within minutes. Tae-soo leaned forward. Can we make weapons from this? I already have. Grenades that release the chemical as gas, bullets coated with the compound. Even spray bottles for close combat. She smiled, and it was not a kind smile. They came to our world to kill us. Now our world itself will kill them. The new weapons were distributed to every resistance group on Earth. The first tests were very successful. Velen soldiers who had laughed at human bullets now screamed as they breathed Earth's air. Their gray skin turned black. They fell to the ground, choking on their own lungs. Humans discovered they enjoyed watching this very much, Captain. Yuntaesu planned Operation Black Sky. It was the largest coordinated attack in human history. Every resistance group, every surviving military unit, every person with a gun and the will to fight would attack at the same moment. They think they broke us, Tetsu told his commanders. They think the orbital strikes ended our hope. They are wrong. They just reminded us what we really are. We are not peaceful creatures. We are not kind. We are the most successful predators this planet has ever produced. And now we hunt together. The attack began at midnight. In Seoul, Sergeant Kim Dae-ho led his team into a Velen command post. They did not use guns this time. They used knives and pesticide grenades. The aliens died quietly, unable to even call for help. In London, freed prisoners joined the resistance. They had seen their families killed. They had nothing left to lose. They fought like demons, screaming the names of the dead as they charged. In New York, civilians who had never held weapons picked up alien guns from fallen enemies. They learned to use them in minutes. Humans were good at learning, especially learning how to kill. Sub-Commander Torak watched his forces collapse on every front. His soldiers were terrified. They had never known fear before coming to Earth. Now they knew nothing else. They are everywhere. One of his officers screamed over the radio. They come out of the walls. They come out of the ground. We cannot stop them. Torak tried to rally his troops. Stand firm. We are the greatest warriors in the galaxy. They are not fighting like warriors. The officer shouted back. They are fighting like monsters. The radio went silent. Another unit gone on the mothership. Advisor Neth presented his findings to High Commander Relos. His voice was calm, but his hands were shaking. Commander, I have analyzed the battle data. The humans are not just resisting, they are adapting. Every time we use a tactic, they learn to counter it within hours. Every weapon we use, they find a weakness within days. They are getting better at killing us faster than we are getting better at killing them. That is impossible, Relo said. We have 1,000 years of military science. And they have 1,000 generations of war, Neth replied. Commander, their entire history is violence. They fight over land, over resources, over ideas, over nothing at all. They have perfected the art of killing in ways we never imagined. We thought we were the predators. We were wrong. We are the prey, Relo slammed his fist on his chair. Then we will glass the entire planet, burn it all. If we do that, we gain nothing. The Emperor will not be pleased with a dead world. And Commander, Neth paused, I am not certain that would stop them. They might survive even that. They are very hard to kill. Below them, on the surface of Earth, humanity pushed forward. City by city, street by street, body by body. They took back their world with blood and fire and rage. Colonel Lee Seung-jin stood over a captured Velen soldier. The alien was wounded, bleeding green blood on the floor. It looked up at him with 4 terrified eyes. Please, the alien begged. Mercy. Lee Seung-jin thought of his wife, his daughters. The hospital turned to ash. Mercy, he repeated. You killed 2 million of us and you ask for mercy? He pulled out his knife. It was coated with the chemical. Let me teach you a human word, he said quietly. Revenge. The alien screams echoed through the night. And somewhere in the darkness, humanity smiled. The hunters had become the hunted. Velen soldiers died by the hundreds. Bullets came from everywhere. From windows, from rooftops, from holes in the ground. The aliens fired back with their plasma weapons, melting concrete and steel. But every time they killed one human soldier, 3 more appeared. Sub-Commander Torak screamed orders into his communicator. Fall back. Find cover. But his soldiers did not know this city. They did not know that humans had spent weeks preparing. They did not know about the traps. Sergeant Kim Dae-ho led his team through the subway tunnels beneath Seoul. He was 40 years old, a veteran of many battles. His face was hard and his eyes were harder. He had lost friends in the first hour of fighting. Now he wanted revenge. This way, he whispered to his men. The aliens are moving toward the old market area. We will hit them from below. They moved like ghosts through the darkness. Above them, they could hear explosions, screams, the strange buzzing sound of alien weapons. Daeho found a maintenance ladder that led up to a street corner. He climbed slowly, carefully. At the top, he saw a group of Velen soldiers standing in a circle. They were looking at a map, trying to understand where they were. Daeho smiled. He pulled a grenade from his belt, counted to 3, and threw. The explosion killed 5 aliens instantly. Daeho and his team burst from the ground, firing their rifles. The remaining aliens turned, surprised. Their shields glowed as bullets bounced away. But humans had learned about those shields. They knew the shields needed a moment to activate. Aim for the ones who just turned. Daeho shouted. His team focused fire on the aliens who were still turning to face them. 3 more fell before the others could raise their shields. Across the city, scenes like this repeated again and again. The Velen had better weapons. They had better armor. But they had never fought in a city. They did not know that humans had turned urban warfare into an art form. In the sky above Seoul, Lieutenant Kang Yuri flew her fighter jet through clouds of smoke and fire. She was 28 years old, one of the best pilots in the Korean Air Force. Now she faced enemies that flew ships from another galaxy. "Eagle team, stay tight," she said into her radio. "Their ships are faster, but they fly in straight lines. They do not expect us to be crazy." Her squadron of 12 jets flew toward a group of Velen atmospheric fighters. The alien ships were sleek and deadly. They moved like silver arrows through the sky. The first exchange was bad. Yuri watched 3 of her pilots explode into fireballs. The alien weapons were too accurate, too powerful. "Break formation," she screamed. "Go low. Use the buildings." The surviving jets dropped toward the city. They flew between skyscrapers, under bridges, through narrow streets. The Velen followed, confused. Their ships were made for open space, not for flying through urban canyons. Yuri pulled her jet into a tight turn around a tall building. A Velen ship tried to follow. It was too slow. The alien ship crashed into the building in a massive explosion. "Yes," Yuri shouted. "They cannot turn like we can. Use the city against them." But victory came with a price. By the end of the first day, Yuri had lost 8 of her 12 pilots. She landed her damaged jet at a hidden airfield, her hands shaking. Her wingman, a young pilot named Jo Minho, did not return. Before his jet exploded, he had sent her one final message. Important data about the alien ships. Information that could save lives? "Their shields flicker when they switch modes," Yuri read from Minho's last transmission. 0.3 seconds? That is our window. She sent this information to every military base on Earth. Minho was dead. But his discovery would help humans kill many more aliens, far away. In a bunker deep in the mountains, Captain Yoon Tae-soo watched reports come in from around the world. The news was mixed. Humans were fighting hard, but they were dying faster. "We lost Seoul Station," a voice reported. "Enemy forces control the eastern districts. Beijing is holding. Heavy casualties on both sides. London has fallen. Survivors retreating north." Tae-soo rubbed his tired eyes. For every alien they killed, 3 humans died. The math was terrible. But something strange was happening. The Velen were not advancing as fast as they should. Their superior technology should have crushed human resistance in hours. Instead, the fighting continued. Dr. Park Hannah contacted him on a secure line. "Captain, I'm seeing something interesting." The Velen commanders are confused. They keep asking each other why humans are still fighting. "They expected us to give up," Tae-soo said. "Yes, on other worlds, the native species surrendered after the first wave of attacks. They saw the Velen power and lost hope. But humans are not losing hope. We are getting angrier." Tae-soo looked at his screens. She was right. Despite the losses, despite the horror, human soldiers were not running away. They were fighting harder. Every city the Velen entered became a death trap. On the Velen mothership, High Commander Relos received Torak's report with growing anger. "What do you mean you cannot secure the cities?" Relos demanded. You have the most advanced army in the galaxy. Torek's image flickered on the screen. Behind him, explosions could be heard. Commander, these humans are different. They hide everywhere. They attack and disappear. When we kill them, they smile. They actually smile as they die. Impossible. No species smiles at death. These ones do. They strap bombs to their own bodies and run toward our soldiers. They crash their vehicles into our formations. They are not trying to win, Commander. They are trying to hurt us, even if it costs them everything. Relos ended the communication. He sat in his command chair, thinking, this was wrong. This was all wrong. 40 worlds had fallen to him. Not one had resisted like this. Advisor Neth approached carefully. Commander, I told you, these humans are strange. Their history is nothing but war. They have been practicing killing each other since they learned to walk. We are not their first enemy. We are just their newest one. Relo stood up. If ground forces could not break the humans, he would use something bigger. Target 3 of their largest cities, he said coldly. The ones still resisting. Use orbital strikes. Destroy them completely. Neth felt cold fear. Commander, that will kill millions. Yes, Relo said. It will. And then the rest will learn to fear us. The next morning, 3 beams of light fell from the sky. 3 cities turned to ash in seconds. 2 million humans died before they could even scream. Relos watched the destruction with satisfaction. Now the humans would break. Now they would surrender. He was wrong. He had just made the worst mistake of his life. Again, High Commander Relos stood in his command room. Staring at a holographic map of Earth, red zones showed areas under Velen control. Blue zones showed human territory. When the invasion started, the map was almost entirely red. Now it was almost entirely blue. They were losing. This is impossible, Relos whispered to himself. We have conquered 40 worlds. We have never lost a single battle. And now we are being pushed back by primitives who still use wheeled vehicles. Advisor Neth stood beside him. He had stopped trying to explain things to the commander. Relos did not want explanations. He wanted victory? But victory was no longer possible. Our casualties have exceeded every previous conquest combined, Neth said quietly. We have lost 60% of our ground forces. Our atmospheric fighters are nearly gone. The humans have learned to use our own weapons against us. When will reinforcements arrive? Relos demanded. 6 months. At minimum. 6 months. They would not survive 6 months. They might not survive 6 weeks. On the surface below, Sergeant Kimdaeho led his team on another mission. But this was not like the early days. Back then they had to hide and run. Now they hunted. His team had captured a Velen communications relay. It was a small building filled with alien computers and equipment. The Velen soldiers guarding it had died quickly. Humans had become very efficient at killing them. Get the data, Daeho ordered. Find out everything they know. His communications officer, a young woman named Shin Bora, connected her laptop to the alien systems. She had learned to read Velen code in just 2 weeks. Humans were fast learners when survival was at stake. Sergeant, you need to see this, she said after a few minutes. Their reinforcements will not arrive for 6 months. The fleet in orbit is all they have. They are completely alone. Daeho smiled. It was the smile of a wolf that has cornered its prey. Send this to Captain Yoon immediately, and to every resistance group on the planet. The news spread quickly. The aliens were alone. No help was coming. For the first time since the invasion began, humans felt something they had almost forgotten. Hope. In the skies above Japan. Lieutenant Kanyuri led what was left of Earth's air forces. She had started with 12 pilots. Now she commanded 300. Flying a mix of human jets and captured alien ships, her pilots had developed new tactics. They called it the Swarm. Instead of fighting in formation, they attacked from every direction at once. They flew through cities, between mountains, under bridges. They made the aliens chase them into traps. Training Flight 7 report, Yuri said into her radio. Ready to hunt, Commander, came the reply. The pilot was young, maybe 20 years old. He had lost his entire family in the first week. Now killing aliens was the only thing he cared about, Yuri understood. She had lost people too. Her wingman Minho, her parents in the orbital strikes. Her little brother somewhere in the chaos. She did not know if he was alive or dead. Remember, she told her pilots, they fly better. But we die better. We are not afraid of death. We just wanted to take them with us. Her squadron launched into the sky. They found a group of Velen fighters and tore them apart in minutes. The aliens did not know how to fight enemies who did not fear death. In her laboratory, Dr. Park Hannah worked on her greatest creation. She had spent months studying alien technology. Now she had built something new. A device that could destroy Velen shields permanently. It uses their own energy against them, she explained to Captain Yoon Tae-soo. When activated, it creates a feedback loop. Their shields do not just fail, they explode. How do we deliver it? Tae-soo asked. Hannah hesitated. That is the problem. The device must be within 50 meters of the target. The user would have to get very close. Dangerously close. A suicide mission. Yes, probably. Tae-soo nodded slowly. How many devices can you make? I have enough materials for 50. When word spread about the devices, volunteers lined up. Not tens of volunteers. Not hundreds, thousands, people who had lost everything. People who wanted revenge. People who just wanted to help save their world. Tae-soo looked at the list of names. Old soldiers, young students, parents, children who lied about their age. He felt pride and sadness at the same time. Humanity, he said quietly to himself. We really are something special. The first major test came in Seoul. Daeho's team used one of Hannah's devices against a Velen defensive position. The results were spectacular. Alien shields exploded. Soldiers who had been untouchable suddenly found themselves vulnerable. Human forces overran the position in minutes. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had won a battle with almost no losses. Colonel Lee Sung-jin received the news with grim satisfaction. Finally, he said. Now we can truly fight back. He ordered a massive offensive. Human forces attacked Velen positions across Asia. Without their shields, the aliens were just flesh and blood. And humans knew many ways to destroy flesh and blood. On the mothership, Sub-Commander Torak made a request he had never made before. Commander, I asked permission to retreat. We cannot hold the surface. We need to pull back to orbit and wait for reinforcements. Relo stared at him with cold fury. Retreat? The Velen Empire does not retreat. We have never retreated in 1,000 years. Commander, if we stay, we will all die. Then we die with honor. Torak wanted to argue, but he knew it was useless. Relos was not thinking clearly anymore. The stress of the invasion had broken something in his mind. Later that night, Neth came to Torak secretly. The commander has lost his grip on reality, Neth said quietly. He will kill us all trying to save his pride. We need to act. What do you suggest? We send a message to the Empire. Tell them the truth. This world cannot be conquered. These humans cannot be beaten. We need to leave while we still can. Torak thought about this for a long time. Then he shook his head. It is too late for that. The humans will not let us leave. They are not satisfied with winning. They want to destroy us completely. He paused. I have studied their history, Neth. When humans hate, they hate forever. We killed their people. They will never forgive us. Outside the mothership's windows, Earth glowed blue and green. Such a beautiful world. Such a deadly world. Below them, Captain Yoon Tae-soo received a message from Dr. Park Hannah. I have found a way, she said. A way to destroy their mothership? But it requires someone to carry a device to their main reactor. It is a one-way trip. Whoever goes will not come back. Tae-soo closed his eyes. He knew what had to be done. Prepare the mission, he said. I will lead it myself. The final battle was about to begin. Final battle. Captain Yoon Tae-soo stood before his team in a hidden bunker. They had spent weeks preparing for this moment. Operation Final Dawn, the mission to end the invasion once and for all. We have captured a Velen shuttle, Tae-soo said. We will use it to reach the mothership. Once inside, we fight our way to the reactor core. Dr. Park's device will do the rest. He paused. I will not lie to you. Most of us will not come back. But if we succeed, Earth will be free. Sergeant Kim Dae-ho stepped forward. Captain, I volunteer to carry the device. You are too important. The planet needs you to lead the rebuilding. Tae-soo shook his head. I cannot ask anyone to do what I am not willing to do myself. You are not asking, Dae-ho said. I am telling. I have no family left. No wife, no children. You have people who need you. I have nothing but this fight. He put his hand on Tae-soo's shoulder. Let me do this, Captain. Let me be useful one last time. Tae-soo looked into his old friend's eyes. He saw no fear there, only peace. The peace of a man who had found his purpose. Very well, Tae-soo said quietly. But we go together. Until the very end. Outside, across the entire planet, human forces prepared for the greatest offensive in history. Colonel Lee Seung-jin commanded the ground assault. His orders were simple: attack everything, everywhere, all at once. This is Colonel Lee to all units, he said into his radio. Today we take back our world. Fight hard. Fight dirty. Fight without mercy. Remember what they did to us? Remember what they took from us? Today we make them pay for every single life. His words echoed across the planet. Soldiers shouted battle cries. Civilians who had joined the resistance checked their weapons. Children too young to fight stood on rooftops to watch. Everyone knew this day would decide everything. In the sky, Lieutenant Kang Yuri led her pilots toward the alien fleet. All squadrons, this is Eagle Leader, she said. Our mission is to clear a path for the shuttle team. Draw fire, create chaos. Keep the aliens busy until the ground team reaches the mothership. Understood, Eagle Leader, her pilots replied. For Earth. For Earth, Yuri repeated. And for everyone we have lost. She pushed her throttle forward. 300 aircraft followed her into battle. The sky erupted in fire. Human pilots and alien fighters twisted and spun in deadly dance. Missiles and plasma bolts filled the air. Ships exploded like fireworks. But the human pilots did not hesitate. They flew into danger without fear. On the ground, human forces attacked every remaining Velen position. Soldiers charged with guns and knives and bare hands. Tanks rolled over alien defenses. Artillery pounded enemy bunkers. The sound of battle was so loud it could be heard 100 kilometers away. The Velen lines began to break. Without shields, without air support, they were just soldiers like any other. And humans had been killing soldiers for thousands of years. Sub-Commander Torak watched his forces collapse. This cannot be happening, he said. We are the Velen Empire. We conquered 40 worlds. Advisor Neth grabbed his arm. We need to reach the emergency ships. We can escape if we leave now. The commander will never agree to run. Then we leave without him. They turned and ran toward the shuttle bay. Behind them, the sounds of battle grew louder. Humans were inside the ship now. Fighting their way through every corridor, Captain Yoon Tae-soo led his team through the mothership's dark hallways. They had lost 5 soldiers already. Alien security forces attacked from every direction. But Dae-ho's team pushed forward, fighting for every meter. Reactor core is ahead, Shinbora reported, checking her scanner. 200 meters. Then we push, Tae-soo said. No stopping now. They charged forward. Aliens fell before them. Humans fell too. But the survivors kept going. Nothing could stop them. They had come too far. Lost too much. They reached the reactor room. It was massive, filled with glowing energy columns and alien machinery. High Commander Relos was there waiting for them. He stood alone. His advisors had abandoned him. His guards were dead. He held a plasma pistol in his shaking hands. You cannot do this, Relos said. If you destroy this ship, you doom your own people. The Empire will send 100 fleets to avenge me. Tesu walked forward. Then we will fight 100 fleets. We will fight 1,000. We will fight until the last human draws their last breath. You started this war, Rilos. We will finish it. Rilos raised his pistol. Deho was faster. His bullet caught the alien commander in the chest. Rilos fell, his 4 eyes wide with disbelief. Impossible, he whispered. We were supposed to be gods to you. You were never gods, Deho said, standing over him. You were just the enemy. And we have been killing enemies since, before we had words for it. Tesu checked the time. The ground forces needed them to act now. Deho, it is time. Deho nodded. He took the device from his pack. It was small, no bigger than a book. But it would create an explosion large enough to tear the mothership apart? Get the team out, Deho said. I will activate it manually. Go. Tesu grabbed his arm. Deho, go, Captain. Deho smiled. It was the first time Tesu had seen him smile since the invasion began. Tell them we won. Tell them Earth is free. And tell them the price was worth it. Tesu wanted to say something. Wanted to thank him. Wanted to tell him he was a hero. But words felt too small. I will remember you, Tesu said. The whole world will remember you. Just make sure there is a world left to remember. Tesu led the surviving team toward the shuttle bay. Behind them, Deho walked to the reactor core. He placed the device carefully. Then he sat down on the floor and waited. He thought about his life. The people he had loved. The battles he had fought. The friends he had lost. It had been a hard life. A violent life. But maybe it had meant something. For Earth, he said quietly. Then he pressed the button. The explosion was visible from the ground. A new sun bloomed in the sky as the mothership tore itself apart. Debris rained down like falling stars. Across the planet, Velen soldiers watched their command ship die. Their morale died with it. They dropped their weapons. They fell to their knees. Some tried to run. None got far. The invasion was over. 1 year later, General Yuntesu stood before the United Earth Council. The world had changed. Old nations still existed, but they worked together now. The Velen invasion had given humanity something it never had before: unity. Behind him, through massive windows, Earth's first interstellar warship waited in orbit. It was built from captured alien technology and human determination. They had named it Deho in honor of the man who saved them all. Dr. Park Hana stood beside Tesu. She had become the head of Earth's new space program. Colonel Lee Seungjin commanded the military forces. Lieutenant Kang Yuri trained the first generation of human starship pilots. They were ready. Ready for whatever came next. Tesu stepped forward to address the council. His speech was broadcast across the planet and into space on every frequency the Velen used. 1 year ago, an alien empire came to Earth. They expected us to surrender. They expected us to bow. They expected us to be easy prey. He paused. They were wrong. They killed millions of our people. They burned our cities. They tried to break our spirit. Instead, they united us. They made us stronger. They taught us that we are not alone in the universe. And they taught us how to reach for the stars. Now we have a message for the Velen Empire. And for anyone else who might be listening. He leaned forward, his eyes cold and hard. You wanted a war with humanity. You got one. But you do not know what war really means. You do not know what we are capable of. You do not know how deep our anger goes or how long our memories last. We are coming, not to conquer, not to enslave, but to make sure no one ever threatens our home again. Run if you want. Hide if you can. It will not help. You showed us the stars. Now we will show you what a real war looks like. The message ended. The council chamber was silent. Then slowly a sound began to build. It started as a whisper, then a murmur, then a roar. Every human watching, every human listening, raised their voice as one, the sound of humanity, united, angry, ready. The universe had no idea what was coming, but it would learn.